Folks, let me be the first to welcome you to paradise. We're not even 30 seconds to my arrival, and the Amtrak Northeast Regional just appears out of nowhere. We're here at Seabrook, Maryland, located at milepost 124.2 on SeaTech 1's territory of Amtrak Northeast Corridor. You'll never regret spotting here because of the non-stop action. On days like today, you'll see trains pass every 5 to 20 minutes. Sometimes you'll catch meets, races, a three-way, or even a four-way in rare occasions. In this video, you'll pretty much see it all in the span of 3 hours, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the trains. Trains normally go 125 miles per hour through here. Most of the time, traffic backs up to where trains move on top of one another. This deadhead mark is slowing down because of another MARC train making a scheduled stop in New Carrollton just a mile down the line. I admire these ST-44 Chargers. They're the only diesel-powered locomotives that can achieve 125 miles per hour in North America. They're slick, powerful, quiet, stylish, and are the Cadillacs of railroad locomotives. These Chargers are equipped with Cummins engines and produce 4,400 horsepower each, so when you have two of them combined, like 679 here, it's game over. The sisters of the Acela Express, these Bombardier Alstom HHP8s were made to pull pretty much everything else. After the Acelas were made, Amtrak had an idea to have a replica of the Acelas that could pull all kinds of trains like regionals and long distance trains, and created the High Horsepower 8000 locomotive, or HHP8 for short. After the release of these HHP8s, the Maryland Transit Authority wanted to buy 6 of these locomotives, which are still active today as you can see, unlike Amtrak, where they retired their HHP8s at Amtrak's maintenance shop in Wilmington, Delaware. These powerful locomotives can achieve 135 miles an hour, but due to the qualification on Amtrak and MARC's fleet, they can only operate 125 miles per hour. It's still pretty cool to see these dinosaurs working together. The Northeast Corridor here at Saybrook, Maryland is really unpredictable. You never know when a train can come in any direction. You can use your high-tech train trackers, ATCS if you want, which we don't have, or any other device, even your scanner, and you still never know when a train will come, especially one sneaking up right behind you. You'll see what I mean here in a minute. Mark recently qualified their Bombardier military levels to 125 miles per hour after all testing and FRA approvals were achieved. It's good that their newer coaches are finally living up to their par, so no more speed restrictions unless you have a single level like this train did or an MP36. The whole stretch you're seeing is exactly 2 miles long. At 125 miles per hour, it only takes a minute or two for this northbound Acela to take the 4% grade up the hill going into Bowie, Maryland. The type of signal you see here are automatic block signals, which correspond to the next signal as well as the direction of train movement. The signal follows the NORAC system, or NORAC signals, on the Northeast Corridor. The aspects that you see here are a clear, approach, and a stop and proceed signal. One way you can tell this is an automatic block is the black number board displaying a number, which is the milepost of where that signal is located. Automatic signals, or ABS, can have other different signs attached, like D, G, P, or any other visible marking. Fine, how you doing? See. Welcome to the Northeast Quarter, where, like I said before this video, trains come out of nowhere, and I wasn't even joking. I didn't even know that the train had clearance to come out of Washington D.C. Station, but it happens. let the HHP-8s undergo an upgrade to set up updated systems, Mark leased 5 ACS-64s from Amtrak so that they wouldn't have to cancel trains that would be short on equipment. I like to call these M-Marks. I do think the ACS-64s look great on Mark, especially with their sister Siemens, the ST-44 Chargers, in a diesel form. Either way, I do like Siemens and their products. They're working really great for the railroad. After the Ammark's departure, a surprise Acela snuck up on me. This was Amtrak's newest non-stop Acela service that runs from Washington, D.C. to New York non-stop, cutting the trip 2 hours and 45 minutes. Personally, I think this is great for Amtrak and should increase ridership no problem, especially for those who need to get to New York, especially on a daily basis, like on a good day today. And here she comes now. This is truly the biggest MARC train that I've ever seen on the Northeast Corridor, with 2 chargers and 8 coaches. MARC typically gets to 6 to 7 coaches, depending on what kind of year and day it is, but 8 is very interesting too. On coaches like this, they're meant for high speed. With going high speeds, you also need brakes to slow the train down, or to have it come to a complete stop in case of emergencies. Hence the brake discs in the axles, increasing the brakes from 2 pads to 4. Remember what I said about the brake discs? They're used for purposes like this, to slow the train down without putting too much pressure on the wheel pads, especially when slowing a train, like the southbound regional, who slowed from 125 miles per hour to 30 miles per hour rapidly, as he creeps up behind that southbound MARC train that passed earlier. When it comes to placing trains in order, the Acellas and long-distance trains go first because they make less stops, especially come from DC where they don't stop at New Carrollton at all. Sometimes they only even stop at BWI. And then the regionals, who make stops at New Carrollton, sometimes at BWI, and then the MARC trains, who make frequent stops. Sometimes the MARC trains don't make any stops, so they'll be placed after the Acellas, but generally the Acellas will go first. Unless the MARC trains get put to track 1, then the Acellas can just run around them. A double HHP8 in one shot. Not too bad there. Amtrak has a rule that all trains that don't stop in New Carrollton must complete a running brake test to ensure that the brakes are fully functional as the speed drops from 125 miles an hour down to 20 miles an hour by the time you hit Washington Union Station. In January of 1953, the Pennsylvania GG1 had malfunctioning brakes and could not stop. The train, along with its fully loaded coaches, there were luckily no fatalities, but 187 people were injured, and pretty much of Washington's Union Station was all destroyed due to the high speed of the GG1. Luckily, it was only doing 40 miles an hour and didn't create as much damage as impacted. Like I've said many times, you never know what to expect here on the corridor, just like I didn't expect Amtrak 80 to use track 1 northbound. When I turned around, I realized that track 2 signal for northbound was red, as I assumed Amtrak was going around a possible MARC train. Sure enough, I was right. A southbound Acela came flying by on track 2 just to get around the MARC train that was on track 3. Around this time, all the trains get very heavy. This is the MARC train that's going north towards Perryville, that's going to stop by Baltimore and continue north. This is how crowded the train is, just in one car. We arrived at Saybrook at about 3 o'clock p.m. and it is now 6 o'clock p.m. We were here for a span of 3 hours and caught almost 30 trains. On a nice Wednesday afternoon like it was today, I'd say it was a very good day of spotting on the corridor, and a lot has changed, like multi-level coaches operating beyond 90 miles per hour, chargers and electrics being used heavily on MARC trains, and non-stop Acellas, as well as track work finally being completed on Track 1 after a span of 5 months. As we watch both signals change, I'd like to thank you all for watching another presentation I have here at Transproductions. Till next time, see you around.